cheat.
Hey, said I'm cheating for no reason.
What the hell he want to do? I don't care if it's ping pong. He gonna if it's ping pong, he want the advantage in the paddles.
I don't care about a paddle.
You figure out how to win.
I'm gonna win. Ain't no figure out. I'm gonna win.
A hell of an experience. You get that type of knowledge, that type of IQ. I look up to Bud a lot. Honestly, he one of the realest dudes that I done met. He's still a normal person in his head. Like, he don't believe that he's above everyone else. That's how I feel about myself.
You see me around a lot.
I don't know.
Don't act like you ain't seen me around
them days.
He said I do.
Bud, come on. Terence talking, I try not to talk back. I try to just listen and
Straight boom. Straight shot. Like right here? All the way to the right hand.
He like a sponge. He soak up everything that he need to soak up, put it into his arsenal.
Terence Crawford is said to be training alongside Shakur Stevenson before his bout with Teofimo Lopez, speaking highly of Stevenson's rare talent. He explains that Shakur's quickness, defense, and sharp ring mind make him very hard to defeat. Crawford points out that Stevenson's mix of technique, movement, and awareness forces rivals to adjust constantly, turning him into a special challenge inside the ring. Watching him train closely shows just how much danger Stevenson brings to any
the people that don't go very far. You gotta always be a student. You gotta always be able to learn and pick up things from this person, that person.
He's a work of art. The sky is the limit with Shakur. He got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wants in the ring. And it's going to be very hard to beat Shakur, with the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has, and given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to every.
Terence Crawford speaks about Shakur Stevenson with respect and brotherly support, praising his high-level abilities. He says, "Some fans think Shakur is boring, but they don't really understand his skill and control in the ring." Crawford compares Stevenson to Floyd Mayweather, who was once criticized the same way before becoming a legend. According to Crawford, Shakur shows the same level of precision, intelligence, and speed, proving he is an elite fighter deserving of recognition and respect.
I got Shakur.
Are you saying that because that's your man?
No. Hey, like I said, I respect Tank. Boxing, he's one of the ones.
Yeah.
we gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. Boxing, he's definitely talented. You know what I mean? And he's definitely got that it. And he's definitely respected in boxing. But Shakur is a different fighter. Shakur is different. People may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they say the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive.
Inside Shakur Stevenson's training camp, Terence Crawford shares many techniques, stressing the importance of learning something from every fighter. Stevenson gains an edge by watching and practicing different styles, which helps him grow more flexible and skilled in the ring. Outside the gym, their time together builds a close, family-like connection, increasing trust and understanding. This mix of skill development and personal support has helped Stevenson grow not only as a boxer, but also as an individual.
It's like a black kind of thing, like, it's like, like when you go to cookouts and all your family be sitting there playing spades and
He stresses the value of matchups where elite fighters face each other despite the risks involved. He believes testing oneself against top competition is necessary for real growth and to truly measure a boxer's ability. Algieri explains that taking chances in the ring, even when losses happen, does not lessen a fighter's worth or talent. Losses can offer important lessons, helping fighters learn adjustments, tactics, and mental strength. He adds that avoiding tough opponents may protect a perfect record, but it does not prove greatness or legacy. Algieri supports bravery and stepping into high-risk fights, stating that true champions are defined not only by victories, but by the challenges they accept and how they respond under pressure.
Health of boxing on this side of the world. Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's kind of what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever
Mercurial,
been around.
we could say. I mean, yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering and going back and forth saying, like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to kind of to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him, man.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And
Teddy Atlas speaks in defense of both Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez amid ongoing criticism throughout their careers. He notes that many critics were quick to accuse them of avoiding hard fights, claiming their records were padded, or that they lacked courage to face elite rivals. Atlas argues this view is outdated and unfair, pointing out that both fighters have shown they are willing to compete at the highest level. He explains that their speed, skill, and fight IQ make them dangerous opponents, not cautious ones. Stevenson and Lopez have repeatedly looked for chances to test themselves, showing clear growth and versatility. Atlas believes the idea that they avoid danger no longer fits, and both fighters deserve credit for their accomplishments and the challenges they now accept in the ring.
And Teofimo at certain spots, he's avoiding this guy, he's avoiding that guy. You can't take those shots at these two guys. Definitely can't now. They are stepping up and they are taking fights that a lot of people are probably surprised they took. Now, a lot of people will say style-wise, Teddy, style-wise, is this going to be a great fight? I don't know if it will. I mean, style-wise, I could see you having a little reservations, whether or not these guys will make for dynamite. They will make, for electricity. I don't know if they will, but I'll tell you what they will make for. Two skillful fighters, two talented fighters, two fighters that are at a high skill level that will compete in the sweet science. I mean, Shakur showed aggression in his last fight against Sabeda, being elusive while being aggressive, walking them down, fighting on the inside, boxing well, still being able to counter, still being able to control space, but also be able to go into tight quarters and not be afraid to show that he's good on the inside too, that he can make you miss and make you pay outside and inside. Shakur showed that. That was great. That was great. And people applaud him. I applaud him. We were sitting there ringside. I was sitting there actually with your sister, ringside, watching that fight. And it was a terrific performance. Shakur showing that dimension, showing that attitude, showing that competitiveness, showing that dog like people like to show or like to talk about. And they want.
Paulie Malignaggi explains that Teofimo Lopez often faces criticism and is sometimes overlooked before big fights. He says this partly comes from Shakur Stevenson's stronger presence in boxing today. Stevenson receives more media coverage, has a bigger fan following, and enjoys greater visibility overall. Although Lopez has strong talent, fast hands, and explosive power, these traits can be hidden by the attention surrounding Stevenson. Malignaggi believes the comparison is often unfair. Lopez has proven himself against tough opponents and shows skills that demand respect, yet media focus frequently favors Stevenson while questioning Lopez. In the end, Malignaggi reminds fans that Lopez proves himself in the ring, and underestimating him could be dangerous for any opponent, including Stevenson. This matchup will push both fighters' skill and mental strength under intense public attention.
Because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. But Teofimo has a way, when you're so damn good and he knows you're so damn good and everybody feels like you're going to beat him, there's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen, okay? I'm just stipulating it. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo, again,
he's got the X factor.
What I just explained.
He's got the talent to
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, well, what about Shakur now? Tank this, tank that. Tank fights the guy that delivers my pizza. He fights the guys in the back that are doing the production. He fights the truck driver. I don't want to hear because he would never have gone.
Boxing analyst Wade suggests that Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson have likely studied each other closely due to their similar development paths and promotional backgrounds. He explains that while both fighters are extremely skilled, their fighting styles are very different. Fans expecting constant offense and non-stop action from Stevenson might be surprised. Wade says Shakur adjusts his approach based on who he faces. Instead of pure aggression, Stevenson relies on planning, footwork, and timing to expose weaknesses and manage the fight's tempo. Lopez's power and explosiveness create a serious threat, and Stevenson's careful style aims to limit it. This fight is expected to be a tactical contest that challenges both fighters' adaptability and ring intelligence.
And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come out there and work?
It is interesting to hear, both of them talk about each other because there's probably not two guys that know each other better, that haven't fought, but have seen each other, been around each other, AMI tournaments and followed each other's career under the same promotional banner than Teo and Shakur, right? Outside of, again, sparring together, training together, that are about to fight each other, there's probably not guys that know how they operate better. So if Teo is saying, I'm going to go out there and make you quit, essentially break you and stop you, that's something we haven't seen anyone get close to even hurting Shakur, really. Like, people say the Williams-Zepeda fight, Zepeda hit him with the right hand and Shakur got wobbled, even though it was clearly slipped. I thought that was one of Shakur's better performances because he dug down and bit down on his mouthpiece and said, I'm not just going to play the back foot and be slick and turn this into a very low output fight that I'll win because I'm just, he's better than Zepeda. But he went out there and dogged it out a little bit, and I respected him for it. I don't expect him to fight the same way versus Teofimo Lopez. I really don't. And I think people are looking at the Zepeda fight and going, yeah, that's Shakur we want. And I don't want to say he's going to disappoint people, but he will not fight that way with Teo. He won't. And Teo won't fight the same way Williams-Zepeda did. They'll both be very measured. I think it'll be a very slow-paced, low-output fight. I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. I could see maybe they go to war or something, but we're talking about Styles making fights, and Teo's style, even if he's on his front foot, he doesn't commit to a lot of punches on the front foot, but he can fight that way. Shakur almost exclusively wants to go defense to offense versus leading the exchange. So I don't know. Not to say Shakur will be on the back foot the whole time. That's not necessarily how I see the fight going, but I don't know if this is going to be like a knockdown, drag